Good morning, movie lovers, and welcome to the Apocalypse Movie Show. I'm Jacob Bartley, your host, and I'm here again with my site members, my buddies, Jake Berlin and Gio Ramos. Jake, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Gio, what's up? How you doing, man?
Doing good. Hopefully this podcast won't be so 2 against 1 like last week. Yeah.
Hey, man, be careful what sides you take. Well, this is our first official movie news as Apocalypse Movies. For those of you who don't know, we recently merged our sites together, Movie Talk Express and Apocalypse Movies. Jake Berlin's site was Apocalypse, and ours was Movie Talk Express, and we kind of merged them together and kept his name because we all agreed that it's awesome. So we're just happy to finally begin this adventure as one site. You guys have any words to say about that, or?
I'm happy that we're collaborating. It makes total sense. Jake, I'm glad we met you last year at the AMC 100 million views, and I'm excited, guys.
Ditto. I'm glad to be working with you guys. It's already been a lot of fun for the past couple weeks, so I'm looking forward to moving forward with it.
Oh, yeah, it's official. All right, well, let's jump right into it. For those of you who don't know, this is the Movie News Podcast where we cover some of the biggest movie news stories throughout the previous week up till Friday. And Gio Ramos, the movie news guru, he picks out the topics. So, Gio, what do we have first today, man?
Well, it's been a slow week for movie news, not surprisingly because of the Star Wars trailer that released on Monday. Yeah, very slow week. We're going to save our analysis for the Padawan podcast, which we'll be shooting later on today. But what we talked about is we're going to give one-word descriptions that, say how we feel about the trailer. Now, let's not all go, Webster here and come up with these big words, just one word that describes how you feel about the Star Wars trailer. And I guess I'll go first. For me, I'm gonna say it was. I can't even see. It's
one
tough.
word. Who made this roll up? Gio made this roll up.
I can't even come up with the
Wow,
word.
you didn't even think about your word first.
Jacob, do you have one?
I know it's on the tip
Do
of
I
my
have
tongue.
one? I do.
Jake, why don't you say yours first? Do you have one?
I'm gonna go nostalgic.
Nostalgic. That's a good one. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. The music alone. Jacob, what about you?
Tears.
Tears. Tears is good.
It's my only word.
A lot of tears were shed. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna be very boring here. I'm just gonna say excitement, okay? Because that's
That pretty much explains it.
It really does. So, guys, stay tuned. Our Padawan podcast will be shot later on today, and we'll have it up.
We'll have it up
soon.
next week, probably around Tuesday. But
Tuesday.
yeah, we'll give a full analysis. It's all about the trailer, so full analysis. Jake's gonna run it down shot by shot. So look forward to that.
All right. So our first topic is going to be a brand new trailer, the first trailer for the long-delayed Jane Got a Gun. Jane Got a Gun stars Natalie Portman, Joel Edgerton, Ewan McGregor, and am I missing anybody?
Noah Emmerich, who plays Natalie Portman's husband.
Gotcha. Okay, so the first trailer released today, Jake wrote it up on the site. And Jake, real quickly, why don't you just tell everybody what Jane Got a Gun is all about?
Basically, Natalie Portman's husband in the movie, Noah Emmerich, is being hunted by a group of bandits, law enforcement, whatever you want to call them. And just like the title says, Jane gets a gun, and she tries to become a total badass and kind of goes to her ex-boyfriend, fiance, and asks for some training and help with the issue, and who is played by Joel Edgerton. And it's basically her going after those who are coming after her husband. And it's kind of exciting because it's going to be Natalie Portman versus Ewan McGregor, which is Padme versus Obi-Wan.
You
But
had to
no, I
bring
mean
that
it's
up.
it looks like it's a western. It's something that isn't really they aren't really made these days. And with Natalie Portman in this kind of role where it's a female driven movie, it should be pretty cool. So
Yeah, we haven't seen Natalie Portman in a role like this in a long time.
I know
right?
she's been pregnant and doing her family stuff for the last couple of years. So that's probably why she hasn't been in a lot of movies lately.
Did she have a role like this in V for Vendetta, or was she more of like the kind of like the trainee, or so to speak? The only thing I remember is her getting her head shaved.
She was very much part of the movie. It was like a co-lead between her and
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving as V.
Yeah.
But it's a very different role. Very different role.
Well, I do love her in this role.
Yeah.
In the first trailer, strong female lead. You can never go wrong with that. You give her a gun, and I mean, there's a moment in the trailer where she keeps firing, bullets at this.
At the very end,
what we think is a guy, laying on the ground, and Joel Edgerton, he's been on fire this year with Black Mass, and
Gift.
The Gift.
Yeah. So as far as expectations go, not very high expectations. I wasn't blown away by the trailer. It definitely has some things going for it. I love Ewan McGregor. This trailer kind of gave me a 310 Yuma kind of feeling to it, where you're being hunted and it's like many against few in the Western kind of. So I mean, that's how I feel about it. What about you, Jake?
Yeah, I literally just watched the trailer right before we started the movie show, and I really liked it. I'm not going to say I loved it, but I was digging it the whole way through. I was actually really surprised because, as far as I know, there was a bunch of drama going into the production of this movie.
Yeah.
They ran through so many different people who were going to star as the male leads.
Well, they had I forget the director's name, but they had the director and with Jude Law in the lead.
Yeah.
And then once the director left, Jude Law left with him. That was on
Yeah.
the first day of production. And then they got Bradley Cooper in the lead role,
Yeah,
and then
that's
he
right,
ended up
that's right.
leaving.
Yeah.
And that ended up going to Joel Edgerton. So, which is no slacking.
Oh, not at
third
all.
choice.
I'm
at all.
actually glad he's playing the
Yeah, it's a
role.
very cool
So
role for him.
this cast looks amazing. Your three leads alone. Natalie Portman. I know some people don't take her that seriously, but she's an incredible
fantastic.
actress.
She's
She's
fantastic.
world class.
Yeah.
She won an Oscar for Black Swan. We've never really seen her in this role, and she kind of slowed down after winning her Oscar a little bit. But like you said, she had some family stuff going on, so it's understandable. Joel Edgerton, man, he's moving up there for me as like one of my favorite guys working in Hollywood today. I was already a huge fan of him from movies like Warrior, and even in bad movies like Exodus, Gods and Kings. I thought he was great in it. So, and I love The Gift, one of my favorite movies this year. He directed and starred in it, and he was amazing in Black Mass. So this guy, and he looks like he's locked into this role too. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And it's a Star Wars prequel reunion. We got Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But okay, that's
Padme,
not a good thing though. If we like,
and Uncle
Owen.
Owen.
If we go by how those movies were,
Hey, redemption. All right, redemption. No, I'm really actually looking forward to this movie now. I really am. So, good job, trailer.
Yeah, they've come a long way since the prequels. Jane Got a Gun is directed by Gavin O'Connor. It has a release date for February 2016, but no specific date as of yet. So guys, check out the trailer. It's on apocalypse.com. Jake wrote up an excellent article. You guys can check it out there, and let us know what you think. All right, moving on. Next, we have sort of a rumor. So THR Hollywood Reporter is reporting that Peyton Reed is being courted by Marvel to come back and direct the Ant-Man sequel, the recently announced Ant-Man and the Wasp. So Peyton Reed is in talks. Do any of us think that he's not coming back to direct Ant-Man 2?
no, I think after what Ant-Man did, it kind of just made sense.
Right.
And I completely dig it because other than Jon Favreau and now the Russo brothers, Marvel is always going after new directors for each film.
Yeah.
So to kind of see them go after the same guy, it means they have a lot of confidence in him and that they love what he did and how he handled the whole situation when they had to go ride and all that kind of stuff. It just makes sense. The movie, after all the issues it went through, it was a complete success, and I'm very excited to see what he does with it. I think he brings has the perfect kind of style for the character of Ant-Man, with a comedy background and everything, and with now I'm looking forward to it because now he can develop the second movie instead of taking it over, along with Paul Rudd, who had writing who helped with the writing in the first one. But I think it's a perfect move by Marvel, and I'm looking forward to it.
What about you, Jacob?
I 100% think that he is coming back, and I 100% want him to come back. I can't say this enough. Ant-Man is my favorite movie of the year of 2015, and Peyton Reed had a lot to do with that. Even though he came in, midway through production and had to deal with somebody else's work, they did a great job of handling that. And you have the same team together. You have Paul Rudd, you have Peyton Reed, and you have Kevin Feige running it all. And I don't know if Adam McKay is going to come help with the script, but that would be cool too, because they made that movie was a comedy, like 40%, maybe even more, is a comedy movie.
Comedy heist,
yeah. And some people might say, I don't want my superhero movies to be a comedy movie, but every superhero nowadays has its subgenre. So, and I think there's room for comedic superhero movies, but it still has serious elements to it. So, I am totally in with this. I think, like you said, Jake, he's going to be able to start from scratch with this movie and be there from beginning to end. So I'm curious to see what will come out with it. And he gets to work with the Wasp character a lot more now and her powers and everything. So I can't wait. I'm going to lose my mind when this movie comes out.
Yeah, there's nothing but good to come from this. Now Peyton Reed will have more time to work on the script. He won't be so rushed in like how they all were when Edgar Wright left and they needed to start production on the first Ant-Man. I agree with you guys. I think I'm curious to see if Adam McKay will come back and help out with the script, or will it be just a Peyton Reed and Paul Rudd kind of collaborating together?
And that'd be fine too.
Yeah. Nothing but good news. Peyton Reed has already developed chemistry with the actors, so it'll be great to see him come back. And there's not much else to buy here. It's a no-brainer. Bring him back. So you guys let us know in the comments what you think. Should Peyton Reed come back, or would you like to see somebody else direct Ant-Man and the Wasp? Let us know in the comments. Okay, moving on. We have a rumor that's really many rumors. So this Gambit movie has been has had trouble finding a director. Rupert Wyatt was attached at one point, and then he dropped off due to scheduling conflicts reportedly. And now, according to both The Wrap and The Heroic Hollywood, Doug Liman, who directed Edge of Tomorrow, Shane Black, who directed Iron Man 3, and who's the last guy?
Joe Cornish.
Joe Cornish, thank you, who directed Attack of the Block. And those three are in the running now to direct Gambit. And I'm going to ask you guys, out of those three, who should direct Gambit? Based on their work and what you think they can bring to the Gambit property, that clearly needs somebody who's really talented to helm the project. So I'm gonna ask you first, Jake.
I'm totally fine with any of them. I think I haven't seen Attack of the Block, so I don't really know Joe Cornish's style, but he had writing credits on Ant-Man.
Yes.
So and a lot of other projects. So he's definitely knows his stuff. But out of the three, if I had to choose one, I would go Doug Liman. His most recent work is up there, especially with Edge of Tomorrow. The movie was a flat-out success, especially after its marketing disaster and not the biggest expectations in the world. I would really love to see him kind of work with Channing Tatum and develop his character. I think he'd fit really well with this character. Mm-hmm. But don't count out someone like Joe Cornish, who has writing credits on comedies, because Gambit does have a little bit of comedic chops to him. It won't be to the extent of Ant-Man, but it can be an Ant-Man style of movie. But Shane Black too, he's already done a superhero movie. It made a buttload of money at the box office. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't Fox want to try and get him on? I wasn't the hugest fan of Iron Man 3, but he did a good enough job to where anybody would want him for a superhero movie. So it makes sense. But out of the three, I would definitely go with Doug Liman.
What about you, Jacob?
So I like you both, I have not seen Attack the Block, so I can't really comment on Joe Cornish directing. I can't. Only thing I'm familiar with, you said he worked on the Ant-Man script a little bit.
I think he had a little. I think he did it with Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright,
Okay,
yeah.
so he
was part of
has
Edgar
some
Wright's,
type of experience working with a studio and a superhero property. So on that basis alone, I'm sure he would be fine. And I've heard Attack the Block is pretty good, like a pretty original, cool little
It's a good
sci-fi movie.
It's a great. I read a review the other day.
I want to check it out for two reasons: see his directing and to see John Boyega in it. So let's put him aside for now because I don't know much about him. But so out of Shane Black and Doug Liman, I'd be cool with either one because I actually liked Iron Man 3. I didn't love it. I nowhere near loved it. I liked it.
Oh, I thought it was good too. Yeah.
There was a lot of questionable things in it, like Pepper Potts becoming a superhero at the end, which I did not like. But as far as that exploring Tony and what he was going through after the events of the Avengers, I thought it was a great like character study film, and I actually really liked it, and it was pretty funny too. All the Iron Mans have had a lot of comedic elements to them, if you think about it. So I mean, just the Avengers world or the whole MCU has a lot of comedic elements to it. So I think he would be a good choice. And Doug Liman, he directed Edge of Tomorrow, right?
Yes.
And what else has he directed? He's
Well,
directed
he had
the Firstborn movie, right?
The Firstborn, and I think he
Born
did
Identity. He did
Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation with
Mr.
Christopher
and
McQuarrie.
Mrs.,
Okay, so what scares me is why is Fox and Channing Tatum having such a hard time finding a director? Why? Are they scared to step into this questionable property?
No, I think it's because of the issues of Fantastic Four.
That's understandable. And maybe it's just, do I really want to direct a Channing Tatum-led superhero movie? I don't know if that's what they're worried about. But I love Channing Tatum. I think he's come a long way since, those dance movies he used to do. So I think if Fox can land Shane Black or Doug Liman, it's a win for them. So, or Joe Cornish, because he's obviously, has a lot of people in Hollywood looking at him. So if they can get one of these three guys, it's a win for them.
Yeah, I tweeted out the other day. I mean, you have Channing Tatum, you have a finished script, you have a production budget of about $150 million, you have a recognizable character and a recognizable brand. Why isn't any director coming to this movie? And I think it's because it's a combination of Fantastic Four and all the production, the pre-production trouble that the film has had up to this point. Now, if Iron Man 3 shows me what Shane Black can do with comic book movies, I don't want him anywhere near this project. Because I was not the biggest fan of Iron Man 3. I did not like that movie. And the more I watch it, the more upset I get. Then again, he directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Downey and Kilmer. So, I mean, if he does...
His plate, Shane Black's plate, I don't know if you guys saw what his plate is the next few years. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he has The Predator.
He's got a bunch of stuff on his plate right now.
Movie.
So
Yeah, and Doug Liman, he's another guy I would love to see direct this movie. However, he has a busy plate too. He has 3 upcoming projects with Tom Cruise, not to mention his Splinter Cell movie that's been long developed with Tom Hardy. And so that leaves Joe Cornish, who I'm picking to direct this movie if, I'm Fox. Now, I haven't seen Attack of the Block, but I hear a lot of good things about it. We need to watch Attack of the Block, man. Seriously.
it's an alien movie, man. How can you not be excited?
I know. And also his writing credits for Ant-Man, So he's a proven director. He knows how to write. He can come in. They have a script. Maybe he can, throw in his input and be like, okay, we want to make this film darker and a bit more grittier, but we also want to make it, humor. Sort of like a Matthew Vaughn kind of, violent film. But not to that extent all the way. So, I think Joe Cornish is the guy. I think he'll direct it only because Doug Liman, he's super busy. And like you said, Jake, so is Shane Black. So I think it just comes down to that. We'll have an announcement soon. They pushed the production from next month to next March, which I don't like because the movie comes out in October.
No, it'll be pushed back.
which I don't
it's
like.
It'll be pushed back.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because I always thought they were being very optimistic, trying to put 3 movies out next year because they've never even done 2 movies in the X-Men.
Is it 3 next year?
Yeah, it's Deadpool, Apocalypse, and Gambit.
Oh, Deadpool, that's right.
As far as they're scheduled right now, and I was like, hold on, Fox, do 2. Start with 2.
I was fine with it because they had everything in line.
No, but now that they're pushing it with if they haven't even found a director for Gambit yet, so hopefully they work it out.
My only issue with Joe Cornish, I mean, I don't have an issue with him, but the only issue about getting Joe Cornish is I'm afraid that Fox would bully him around like they do Josh Trank because he hasn't done a lot.
Yeah,
because he isn't a big director. So that's my only issue. I would love to see him do it, but that just scares me a little bit because of the recent issues with Fantastic Four.
Oh, let's not forget what Fox has done to directors like Josh Trank and Gavin Hood, who come aboard and all of a sudden they're not directing the movie that they agreed on directing. But that's another conversation for later, guys. Let us know who you think should direct Gambit. Do you have another name in mind? Let us know in the comments. All right, moving on. We have another rumor. Like I said, this is a slow week in movie news, so we're going on rumors this week, guys. The Batman v Superman budget, according to Latino Review, has reportedly escalated to $410 million. Now, I wrote up an article on Apocalypse.com that this budget surpasses both Avengers films separately by at least $150 million. Now, when you watch the trailer, the lengthy trailer, maybe it won't be that hard to see where $410 million is spent. But I'm going to ask you guys, should Warner Brothers invest nearly $500 million into their first film that's going to kick off the DC Cinematic Universe? Do you see this being a $410 million film? And we're going to start off with you, Jacob.
I mean, I can see it if any movie, coming out in the next few years would have a budget like that. I think Batman v Superman would be one of them. Again, same thing with Infinity War and Justice League. They kind of have to be, but is this including marketing or no? This is just prior to marketing.
According to the rumor from Latino Review, who's been hit or miss.
So they didn't consider marketing in their article?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just production.
Wow. Because
$500 million after marketing.
Well, they're gonna make a profit no matter what. They're going to, but still, why do you really need that much money to make this movie?
It's Zack Snyder, man.
Do you really? All right. So there's only I would give Star Wars movie that budget because you're definitely gonna make your money back with that. I would probably give an Avengers Infinity War movie that budget, and Batman v Superman. They better hope it's great. Or even really good.
It doesn't even need to be great. It just needs to be good because the amount of money it's going to make.
All right, well, they better hope it's good.
Yeah.
Because let's just hypothetically say, for example, it's like quality of Amazing Spider-Man 2. And it gets bad reviews, fans don't like it. Then it's not going to make, because if it's really, really good, I think it's going to make like $1.8 billion.
That's all. Dude. Oh. That's a lot of
worldwide
money.
By the time
that's
the end
a lot
of its
of
run.
money.
I think it could, but I'm saying if it's really good. But if it's not good, I think it could end up making like $900 million, which would maybe be a disappointment for them. So they better just hope it's good. They must have a lot of confidence in this film if they're okaying that budget. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you this. So if it's ratings wise, Amazing Spider-Man 2 level, it's terrible. What if it's rating wise Man of Steel level? Do you know what that score was?
It was like a 58 or something.
It was a 55% of Rotten
55,
Tomatoes.
yeah.
5% away from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I don't
think
does it need to be better than that?
I don't.
Does it need to be better than that?
Yes.
Because I know you both loved it, right?
Yes.
You both loved it.
Yes.
Look,
but does it need to be better
most
than that
of the
overall?
time I'm like, all right, that Rotten Tomatoes score makes sense. The Man of Steel one does not make sense to me. I think people were going into it thinking negatively before they even saw the movie, and a lot of people were like, this isn't the Superman I know, so I don't like the movie. They need to set those.
If I was to give it a Rotten Tomatoes score, I would go at about 60 to 65% for me. That's what I would give it. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't understand.
But so it does it. So that score, if it was to be that score, it'd be fine to you.
No.
Or does it need to be better?
It needs to be better.
It needs to be better. Gio?
It needs to be in like the 80s.
It's not even a question.
I'm just wondering.
I mean, yeah, Batman and Superman. This film better rock our world. Is it my turn to talk?
Well, go ahead and then I'll go. Yeah.
Go ahead. It's back to you.
Well, okay. So as for the budget, I think it's a little bit ridiculous. The thing that comes to mind when I see $410 million on a movie, Warner Brothers is trying to buy success. That is a crap load of money, like a ridiculous amount of money. And I get why they did it. Obviously, it's Batman vs Superman and Wonder Woman, and they're fighting, and it's like all this stuff going on, and it's Zack Snyder, who's one of the best at having one of the biggest productions ever.
Yeah,
his sets are huge, so it makes sense, but I don't think it's necessary. It almost sends me a sign that Warner Brothers is trying to buy the best movie possible. They're trying to give it the best quality of things, and sometimes that doesn't work. I don't know the Man of Steel budget off the top of my head, but that'd be very interesting to see what the difference is between Man of Steel and if this Batman vs Superman one is true, like how big they actually went. And as for the movie itself, I'm still hesitant on it. I like the trailer like everyone else, but it does scare me a little bit that people are getting a little bit too excited because their hopes might be a little crushed. I think Zack Snyder is a great director, but sometimes his trailers are way too good compared to his movies. That's just my personal opinion. But and I'm like everyone else. I hope it crushes. It's Batman vs Superman, two of the biggest superheroes on the planet. But the budget, if it's true, is just way too much. There's so much money to give a movie. And like Jacob said, they're obviously going to make it back. But it's interesting to see how much money a studio can actually give a movie. So,
Yeah, the Man of Steel production budget, according to a couple sites, is $225 million.
wow.
So, Batman v Superman is nearly double that. You can credit that to Batman being in the movie. Nah.
You can though.
Yeah. Okay, so this film needs to be great. It doesn't need to be good. It needs to be great because there's so much writing on this movie. You got the production budget just adds to the film already being pressured to set up the entire DC Cinematic Universe, give us a Batman that has to follow Christian Bale, give us our very first Wonder Woman from an actress who people still aren't accepting.
And Cyborg and Aquaman and Flash.
And Flash and Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
There is so much writing on this. Warner Brothers is betting big right now. And I think they'll make their money back, but this film needs to work. Like, I don't care if this is Zack Snyder's only great film that he ever makes. This film needs to be great. There's so much writing on it. And the last thing I'll say about the production budget is $410 million just on production budget. They have limited their profit, their margin of profit by a lot because you don't include marketing costs, and let's say this film makes $1.5 billion. Realistically, you're only making $1 billion.
You're only making $1 billion.
But then you take out
to put in $500 million to a movie though, that's not very much.
Yeah, I think they're banking. This isn't just the profit they're going to make on this movie. This movie is an investment on the rest of the DC universe.
See, that's my issue though. They're buying the DC universe. That's what I was saying. Like they're buying it. They're putting enough money into it to make sure people come to see it.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to go see it no matter what.
Exactly. Like, why would they need to put?
Well, they certainly have the talent to back it up. I mean, you get Ben Affleck on there potentially directing his own Batman movie. You have to get people to come and see what this new cinematic universe has to offer. Regardless, I think we all can agree that this is a little bit crazy of a production budget, $410 million. And we also want to ask you guys: do you think this is too much money, or is it just the right amount of money? Let us know. I wrote article about it on the site. You can check it out. And I also posted the trailer too. So rewatch the trailer and let us know what you think. All right, moving on. We have some Oscar news. Chris Rock is going to host the Oscars, guys. And I just want to ask you real quick. Can Chris Rock save the Oscars?
Is this official?
Yes.
It's official. I'm not sure because I know he hosted the Oscars
2005.
10 years ago. I think it was 5.
5, yeah.
5.
And it, as far as I know, it didn't go over so well. Like a lot of people say that he didn't do that great, but the reason I'm okay with it is because the top 5 last year was one of my favorite. It was in my top 10 of movies last year. I love that movie so much, and I think Chris Rock has kind of, with that film, kind of maybe a little bit revitalized his career in a way. So I think he's going to go at it a lot differently than he did back in 2005. So I don't think the Oscars really needs saving. I think what we're going to be looking at is he going to do a better job than he did 10 years ago? And I think he will. So I'm cool with it.
Well, I like this. I like that Chris Rock is coming back. I would have preferred Eddie Murphy, but I mean, I'll take Chris Rock. I agree with everything that you said, Jacob. Top 5 certainly reminded us all just how funny Chris Rock is, and he'll use what he learned 10 years ago to make a better host for the Oscars. And when I said the Oscars need saving, I was kind of talking about the host. Past couple of years, they haven't really been because like the Billy Crystal, or
I guess people said that Neil Patrick Harris was a disappointment. People said that Ellen DeGeneres was a disappointment. People said Seth MacFarlane was a disappointment. So yeah, I agree with you as far as the host. It does maybe need saving.
Yeah,
but I thought you were saying like the whole show as a whole.
And also, I mean, just to get young viewers interested again.
They need to shorten it. They need to shorten the Oscars somehow.
Yeah,
I think.
And they also need to work on their how they distribute the time. As far as giving the best actor time to talk, or the best director time to talk, or whatnot. But we'll save that for Oscar season later on down the road. Well, Jake, Chris Rock.
I mean, I'm fine with it. He's a great comedian. I was personally holding out for 2 options: a duo of Timberlake and Fallon, Jimmy Fallon, Justin Timberlake,
that would be awesome.
The Rock. I think
man.
I think the Oscars, they don't need saving, but I think you need to get someone who can entertain a crowd, who isn't a comedian, like who can handle a crowd. And obviously The Rock knows how to do that with his wrestling background. He knows how to handle a crowd, how to rile them up, how to, to entertain them. And I think he would have been a perfect choice for it. Same goes for Timberlake and Fallon. I mean, with their background as well. I'm fine with Chris Rock. As long as, I've heard that, I didn't watch it back in 2005, but I heard they took it almost as he went into it almost as a roast, which isn't the way to take an Oscars. And hopefully he learns from that. I have no doubt that he can be good. I just wish that, maybe they would have gone with someone that, like you said, fits a younger generation. And today, Jimmy Fallon is one of those persons, and The Rock is one of those persons.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely Dwayne Johnson. And I like that you brought up the roast approach, because for a while I kind of wanted to see Jeff Ross. The roast master Jeff Ross.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be hilarious. But yeah, that's never happened. But definitely Dwayne Johnson. So guys, let us know in the comments. Chris Rock hosting the Oscars. Are you excited? Does that mean you're gonna watch this year, or will you just pass? All right, we're gonna move on to our open mic subject, and this will be a little warm up to the Padawan podcast, the lengthy Padawan podcast that will focus just on the new Star Wars trailer. So for our open mic, I wanted to talk to you guys about a rumor that's been going around. Well, speculation. We'll call it speculation.
Theories.
A pretty big one. A lot of sites are talking about how Luke Skywalker could potentially be evil. He could be on the dark side by the time we see him in The Force Awakens. And I want to ask you guys, is this possible? Could something have happened between the 30 years of Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens? And I wrote an article that I know you guys have read on apocalypse.com, and I gave some of the obvious reasons as to why Luke Skywalker could potentially be evil. So we're going to go around, and does it make sense? Does it not make sense? A little bit from my article, but the whole idea of Luke Skywalker being on the dark side, can it work? Can it not work? We're gonna go down.
It's apocalypsemovies.com, man. Come on, get it right.
Apocalypsemovies.com.
People are gonna type in apocalypse.com. This page is aired.
All right, apocalypsemovies.com.
Come on, man. Get with it. Get with it.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I do not think he's evil. Okay. I get the theory, and yes, it does make sense a little bit. Do I back up all the reasons you gave too? They're all possibilities.
Obvious, yeah.
There are 30 years between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. Anything could literally happen. My reasoning is because, one, it's not that they would be shooing it in, but it would feel like they're just going with what the whole Vader storyline was. You know, he'd be following the path of his father. Why not change it? And then also, it would be once again a lie of who the chosen one is. Luke is the chosen one. Why would he go to the dark side? We all thought Anakin was the chosen one, but he flipped. Then it'd be the same thing. His son does the same thing. It just it doesn't, like, I don't want to see the same thing happen again. And I don't think JJ would do it. I mean, I know they had that interview or whatever back 10 years ago. It's been popping up. Like, they talked about evil turning the dark side. That's what Mark Hamill wanted, all that kind of stuff. But ever since the storyline or the characters that come out for this movie, I've always said that Luke he's the one person in the galaxy that is so powerful that he can teeter between both. That he can be both good and bad, but it's not to an extent where bad is dark, like Darth Sith, like the Sith kind of way. I think he's so powerful that he went into hiding because he's teetering back and forth. We saw it in Return of the Jedi, what's possible. He has some anger issues in him. It's in his lineage, obviously. But I just don't think it'll happen. May he be a completely different character from last time we saw him? Definitely. There may be a little bit of darkness in his eyes to where, he fights Solo at first because he doesn't know who he is, or he fights Rey or Finn or whoever it is. But I think he's going to be the Luke Skywalker that we know and that we want him to be, the last remaining true Jedi Master. I would love to see him teeter between both. I think it'd be very cool, but I don't think he'll be evil. I don't want to see it because it's something we've seen before. It'll be recycled. So that's my reasoning behind it.
Well, yeah, I agree with a lot of things you said. That I have a feeling that he's been tempted by the dark side. We've already seen it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to why, unless someone sent him to go into hiding, if he went into hiding on himself, maybe he got like exiled from.
Or something happened where he had a Padawan and that Padawan died.
Yeah, so maybe he was tempted by the dark side, and he's like, I need to get away from everyone. I'm too dangerous.
Yes.
So he gets away, and he's able to control himself when he's isolated on this island. But yeah, is it a possibility? Definitely. It's definitely a possibility. But I don't want it to be true because here's the thing. Luke is our hero. He's the hero in this galaxy. He's supposed to be the guy. If it turns out that he became evil after everything he went through in the original trilogy, then it kind of takes all of his heroic elements and takes them and throws them in the garbage, from my perspective. So I feel like doing that would in turn ruin Luke from the original trilogy, because he's no longer. So now you're gonna know that he becomes evil. So he's the hero. in the Star Wars universe, and everyone else is like Han is like a scoundrel and kind of like an anti-hero type, and a lot of the like Lando, same thing, anti-hero, does bad, does good. So Luke was that one guy who is the good guy. So I don't want that to be ruined for me. But I definitely think it's a possibility. And Gio, your article, it made a lot of sense. We see fear and anger and hate in Luke throughout the entire trilogy. So it would make sense. But ultimately, I would like it if he struggles with going to the dark side, like you said.
Both, yeah.
But he ultimately is able to pull through and stays on the light side. So
I just want to see him with a green lightsaber.
Yes.
I don't want to be red. I want to see a green one. Because I missed that damn green lightsaber.
You want to see a purple lightsaber?
No.
Never.
Depends on who it is.
If Finn gets a purple lightsaber, I'm going to be pissed off.
He has a blue one, bro.
That's not his, though.
That's good.
Luke
Yes,
will
it
get
is.
that sucker back.
No.
And Luke he'll go double wield.
No.
Come on, man. One in both hands.
Oh, man.
That's
All right.
Finn's lights. There's a reason
That is not Finn's lightsaber.
There's a reason they're showcasing Finn with that lightsaber.
Dude, I'm telling you, he is not a Jedi.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's-
Yes, he is.
We're going to save this for Padawan.
not.
We're going to save this for
Yes, he
Padawan. All right, we're going to save this for Padawan. So, I don't believe for a second that Luke Skywalker is evil. However, I entertained the idea in the article. Luke, like his father, started way late training as a Padawan. And the reason why Padawans start early is because they don't want them developing human habits and clinging on to things that they care about and all that kind of stuff. Secondly, the Emperor got to him. The Emperor, the Emperor died, whatnot, but he succeeded in getting Luke Skywalker to break almost, he nearly killed his father. Who's to say that he doesn't nearly kill someone else down the line when, let's say, somebody has a gun to lay his head or something like that? So I'm not going to dismiss that something might have happened within 30 years that made Luke go into exile. I think considering everything that the prequels have established about Jedis, Luke has failed as a Jedi. If the Jedi Order were alive today, Mace Windu, Yoda, everyone, the Jedi Council were alive, they would strip Luke Skywalker of his Jedi titles.
Well, okay, from the...
and I'm only going...
Just real quick, real quick.
And I'm only going off of everything that the prequels have established.
Well, just...
Go ahead.
He is the only Jedi trainee in the history of the galaxy to not have a master. Like, he did this all on his own. Like, I know he has the Force Ghost and everything, but his Jedi title, it all came from himself. So some can even argue that he's not even a true Jedi because he never went through the trials, or he never sat back and really
he
trained.
was trained by Obi-Wan and Yoda, but not full training.
It wasn't like
it wasn't full, and they were never direct.
Second, it was
they were never direct master and Padawan.
Yeah, so he's never really had that full Jedi training. So it's a very different type of Jedi because he did it all on his own. Like, he is a self-taught master. So, but I get what you're saying. I just wanted to throw that out.
So he must have done more training in between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no way.
Yeah. He's been Force ghosting it with Yoda and Obi-Wan for the past 30 years. Come on. And Anakin. Anakin's been there as well. So the three of them guiding him, that's a serious, powerful Jedi.
So in
right
a
there.
way, he does have a master.
Yeah.
Not in the physical presence of.
Yeah, but it's different.
So when
though.
Anakin goes to become a Force Ghost, he's a good guy now. You see him smiling at the end of him. So he's all happy now. He's free.
Apparently,
is his soul
and
free?
I guess Obi-Wan and Yoda totally accepted.
They're just all kicking it, and
Dude, they're chilling.
with Qui-Gon too. Qui-Gon's out there too.
Liam Neeson might
That would
come
be
back.
awesome if he showed up.
Oh,
Somehow,
yeah.
I would think it would be in the Obi-Wan spinoff,
It would be an Obi-Wan
Absolutely.
spinoff.
Yeah.
and that'll be his Force Ghost.
Yes.
So
So you guys let us know in the comments. Is Luke Skywalker evil? Do you buy into it? Do you have any theories about this? Let us know, and we'll be interested to read what you say. Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up our Apocalypse movie news show for the week. I would like to thank my partners here, Jake Berlin. Let them know where they can find you online.
Twitter, Instagram at Qui-Gon Jake. You can find us on Facebook at Apocalypse Movies and our brand new site, apocalypsemovies.com.
Yeah, get it right, Gio, and let them know where they can find you online, man.
God, this is sounding like a bit one-sided again. Picking on me. You can find me on Twitter at JojoRamos24, and you can find me writing some ridiculous articles on apocalypsemovies.com.
And I'm your host, Jacob Bartley. You can find me on Twitter at my new Twitter name. Well, I'll explain it more on the Padawan podcast, but Grand Moff Bartley would not fit as a Twitter handle.
So it's Bartley Beast, right?
No, I changed it
again?
It's Governor Bartley because Grand Moff Tarkin is Governor Tarkin. Okay. So it works. So you can find me on Twitter at Governor Bartley and on apocalypsemovies.com and this YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. We would really, really appreciate it. And if you are subscribed, hit that like button. And thank you all. We will see you next week.